This podcast is brought to you by themarketplatform.com. It's a website where local buyers and sellers can sell any products or purchase products through the Rio Grande Valley. Right now, it's been estimated that there are over 100,000 people in the McAllen and surrounding areas that have either been furloughed, lost their jobs, or had their hours cut. So this is a way to be able to generate some income during this uncertain time. It's a very interesting time that we're living through, and I know a lot of my friends and a lot of businesses are going out of business, had to close their doors, and really wanted to be able to give back to our community and also help support the people that live in our community and also be able to generate a business at the same time. So themarketplatform.com. Go check it out. Sign up as a buyer or seller today. So one of the goals of my podcast is to be able to get accurate information from credible sources. And it's always been that way. I've always wanted to be able to have a conversation with other business owners or local people or national people from around the world that are giving accurate information. And this is something that I strive for, that I work very hard for on my podcast. So if you like what you've been hearing, hit that subscribe button below, hit that notification bell, and you get notified every single time I upload a podcast. All right, so I have Devin Martin from National Life Group on today's podcast. And the reason I wanted to get him on is because obviously these are very uncertain times. And I'm trying to find credible information from credible guests to give us some insight about what's going on in their industry. So today, it's all about life insurance. Devin, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and introduce a little bit about what you do?
Of course. I wanted to thank you for having me, Josh. And I'm excited and I'm honored to be on the podcast. So as mentioned, my name is Devin Martin. I am from Northern Vermont originally, about 10 minutes from Canada. I started the home office at National Life Group about 6 years ago in Vermont. And about 2 to 3 years ago, I decided to make the move to Dallas, Texas to our other headquartered office. Honestly, just because I wanted to give something a try and kind of get out of my comfort zone. And I'm really glad I made the trip because Dallas has been a good experience so far. And seeing both campuses of the company has really spoken volume to the culture at National Life Group. And I'm really excited to still be working for such a great company.
Well, I'm excited to have you on the podcast because obviously life insurance is something that everybody needs, and it's very important right now for what's going on. So the $1 million question, if someone were to get COVID-19 coronavirus while having a policy, are they covered?
So I'm going to unpack that question, and I'm really glad that you asked that question. I'll just say it. National Life has been actively paying out claims because of the COVID-19 coronavirus, but I am going to dig into a little bit of detail with that.
Please do.
So we have what's called living benefits at National Life Group. So we have the new life insurance, not the old life insurance. And National Life actually pays out the death claim while you're still alive because it's a living benefit, not a death benefit anymore. And the way it works is if you qualify for a certain trigger, then we will pay out the claim. We don't have a specific trigger because of COVID-19. However, if you qualify for some of our living benefits because of the COVID-19, we would pay out the claim. So for example, if you can't perform 2 of your 6 activities of daily living, dressing, bathing, traveling, because of the coronavirus, we would pay out that claim. If you have a certain number of years or critical illness to live or critical illness, we would also pay out the claim because of COVID-19. However, if you simply have the coronavirus and you're out for 2 to 3 weeks and then you recover, no claim would be paid in that scenario. So I hope I explained that okay.
No, definitely you did. I think obviously this time is very uncertain for a lot of people, and nobody really knows how to navigate this stuff. So being able to, in layman's terms, is what I love to be able to learn. Talk to me like I'm a 4th grader so I can understand it. I think it's very important for people to understand that. So what are the types of life products to serve different purposes?
Sure, yeah. So there's a spectrum of insurance products, and at the end of the day, I'm a fan of keeping it simple. So I think we're all familiar with what term insurance is and what it can do. So term is probably the cheapest out-of-pocket insurance you can get, simply because there's no cash value associated, and it's only for a certain term in your life. If you have a kid in college, if you have a mortgage, whatever the case may be. And then our most common product is what's called Index Universal Life, or an IUL. And this product really helps solve life puzzle. So if you were to die too soon, if you were to become ill, or even if you were to live too long, all of those three financial consumer concerns are solved under one umbrella with this solution of the IUL. And the cash value instead of the insurance product is actually tax-free. And you're going to get your money at retirement in one of three ways. You're going to get it taxable, tax-deferred, or tax-free. Most people have a 401k or some sort of IRA, but that's going to be taxable when you retire. So I'm a fan of having tax-free retirement, and this one solution can help contribute towards that.
Interesting. Okay. So right now, everyone's being cautious. Everybody's being told to practice social distancing. Obviously, a lot of people aren't doing it, but this is the number one thing that we can use to flatten the curve. A lot of people don't want to go out right now. What is your office, or what are you all doing to be able to help our community virtually meet these clients and get their services that they need?
Great question. So National Life actually went from a physical company to a virtual company overnight. We are thriving. We're not slowing down. And every one of our employees is currently working from home. So fortunately, you don't have to be face-to-face with somebody to get a policy anymore. National Life actually allows for Zoom or a video conference in order to solicit business. And with the day and age, as we just talked about, Josh, people are going to be going out, and we have to practice social distancing. So fortunately, National Life makes it easier than ever in order to get insurance. We can even go through no blood, no urine, no exam, all the way up to $3 million in death benefit. And there's nothing needed other than just the application, and everything can be done via video conference now.
Interesting. Yeah, this whole coronavirus, the COVID-19, is kind of like a blessing and a curse, because it really forced people to adopt technology. And me being from the digital world, I love it. So I just see it being a good thing for everybody going forward.
Of course.
But in this unsure time, people are obviously worried about the safety of their money and the guarantees of their money. What can people do? I mean, can you touch on this a little bit more?
Yeah, that's another great question. So our products are what you call index products. So with index, the common phrase is upside potential with downside protection. So right now, the market has lost upwards of $10 trillion since all of this has happened. If you put every one of National Life clients into a room together and you pose the question, how many of you guys have lost a single penny? Not a single person could raise their hand, because we have a 0% floor on our product and no money can be lost because of market conditions. If you actually went to YouTube and typed in National Life Group indexing, there's about a 2-minute video that explains this. But our policyholders are not invested directly into the market, which means that National Life can keep their promise and give that 0% floor. So even if the market loses money, a client will never lose a penny.
Interesting. Well, that's good to hear. So, Devin Martin, I got you from National Life Group. Right before I finish off the podcast, is there any other insight that you can give us that your industry is going through specifically because of the coronavirus?
Yeah, of course. So I'm not going to name any carriers specifically, but I will talk about what's going on with some other companies. So again, National Life went from physical to virtual overnight. Other carriers, as of right now, some of them are suspending sales or closing business for certain reasons in certain scenarios. For example, one carrier actually is not selling to clients 65 and older. Another carrier is not offering their living benefits on new sales. And if you are below average in health and you get a substandard rating, another carrier actually isn't offering coverage on that as well. That is not the case with National Life. It's still business as usual and nothing is different. So other carriers in the industry are, unfortunately slowing down. However, National Life is still fully open for business.
Awesome. Devin, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. I know right now it's a very busy time for a lot of people, and also it's a very interesting time for people who are getting laid off. So I value your time. I value your expertise in this field. So once again, we've got Devin Martin from National Life Group. Thank you very much. All right, so I have Richard Elizondo from Employee Retirement Services. Now, I just had Devin Martin on from National Life Group on the podcast, and we're talking about life insurance. Obviously, it's something that's very important to have right now, but I wanted to talk to you specifically from a local level. So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yes, my name is Richard Elizondo, and what we do is we do retirement and income planning with our firm, and in matter of trying to structure plans that will make a difference in people's lives.
Okay. So I think the number one question is people are worried about their money. What is the financial strength of your carrier?
I'm proud to say that National Life Group is rated A excellent by AM Best and A plus, which means strong by Standard and Poor's, A1 by Moody's. This is a very strong rating. National Life Group has been around for 172 years. They've always kept the promises. They kept the promises during the Great Depression, during the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic, and even during the stock market crashes. And they did it without selling any of their assets, just doing it with their own reserves. So they're very strong financially. They're a very strong company. We're proud to be partnered up with them.
It's a very interesting time that we're living through. I think we were just talking about right now when we got on the phone first that we have to now wear face masks everywhere we go. I think it's very interesting that we've never gone through anything like this. I mean, it's an uncertain time for a lot of people. And Devin was talking about the different types of benefits, and I wanted you to touch on living benefits specifically.
National Life Group has built their life insurance products with what we call a three-piece puzzle. Not only if you die too soon, there's a death benefit, and if you live too long, there's cash value to structure income. But the most important component of the product is the living benefits, which includes terminal illness, chronic illness, critical illness, and critical injury. 4 different living benefits that comes with the product, and very few, a handful of companies in the industry will have that many. I think on the average throughout the industry, they may have 2 of those living benefits. Terminal illness, critical illness, chronic illness, and critical injury are very, very important in people's lives. So it's not just about the death benefit. Living benefit to me is one of the most important benefits that is offered through National Life.
So right now, with everything that's going on with the coronavirus, a lot of people are out of jobs. A lot of people aren't getting that same income. I think people want to know if there's a strategy behind what's going on with the services that you all offer. So can you talk about funding strategies and anything like that?
Well, as far as the strategy for starting up a plan, there's many ways of doing it. We do a complete income and tax analysis for each individual. We find that there's ways that they're doing things that need to be restructured, and to be able to create cash flow, to be able to have this product in their portfolio because of not only the living benefits that I mentioned a while ago, but in the event that there needs to be a transfer of wealth upon passing on, particularly more and more people concerned with the virus that is affecting many lives and many people. So this is an important component to have while they can get it. And again, we're here to help them develop that way, and finding the ways of doing it by doing a complete financial analysis for them.
Okay.
Now, one of the things I wanted to mention is, in many cases, some of the bigger cases, we're able to do what we call premium finance. This is really for high net worth people, and those are people that are looking for large transfer wealth type of strategies, and also to structure large tax-free retirement income. So those are premium finance cases that we have the ability to be able to help them with that. And again, those kind of cases are for the high net worth people. But again, we have all kinds of products and able to find ways of doing it without affecting the spendable income. And that's the important key there, Josh, that most people look at these things after the fact, but before the fact, they think that they're looking at it as a cost rather than a benefit. They feel like they can't afford to do something at this point. But again, by our complete income and tax analysis, we're able to reposition, restructure ways to find the cash flow and develop the the way of them able to have the benefit.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Can you touch on the history of the first claim and how much?
Well, the first claim, from my understanding, was in 1850. There was an individual that was from Vermont that set out to go find gold in California back in the days, and months after he bought two policies worth $500 each. And months after that, during one of his trips, he passed away, and therefore the company paid out $1,000 total on the two policies. Again, that was back in 1850. The biggest premium, or the biggest death benefit, biggest claim that is that they've ever paid, is $50 million back in the early 1900s. $50 million. But if you include the dividends and interest on that policy, it was a total of $70 million. Again, that was back in the early 1900s. And this is how strong this company has always kept the promises, and they continue to do that. And so we're real proud to be part of this company.
Yeah, I think at this moment in history, we're looking for people or for companies that we can really rely on, because a lot of people don't have answers. A lot of people are unsure about this time. So I wanted to get one more question in before we finish off the podcast. And of course, I'd like to thank you for your time, Richard. But is there any other insight that you can share with us that's going on in your industry right now at the local level?
Well, we are here open for business. We have never shut down. People have access to us. Obviously, we're having to do it through technology, but they do have us to call. We still able to provide the service. We're still able to do business every day, and it's a big concern for people because of the virus. But we have not gone anywhere. We're not going anywhere. I want people to know that we're not a fly-by-night. We've been here for many years, and we continue and plan on being here for many years to come.
Richard, once again, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. Richard Elizondo from Employee Retirement Services. All right, so we have Lily De La Rosa from Employee Retirement Services, and I wanted to touch specifically on life insurance. Obviously, during this time, it's a very uncertain time for a lot of people. So I wanted to get the most accurate information and from credible sources. So can you please introduce yourself? Tell us how long you've been with Employee Retirement Services, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Well, Josh, I have been in the industry, in the financial industry, for now, I guess, 30 years plus. With Employee Retirement Services, I've already crossed over my 7th year. So I've been with Employee Retirement for 7 years plus. Now, Employee Retirement Services is a very unique agency that services the Valley. And the way I say that it's unique, it's because in my career in finance, I managed, big corporate banks. And during that time, I was always worried about numbers. And I had this mentor, and I want to mention his name because he's no longer with us. And he was very, very influential in my career, and that was Ed Tamayo. He once told me, he says, little girl, you don't follow the numbers, you follow the people. And I really think that has been my motto that I have always carried and brought that with me here to Employee Retirement Services. And it's part of why we're so successful, because Richard Elizondo, who is our CEO, also carries that same motto. So that is what we're about here at Employee Retirement Services. We service our clients one at a time, and we give them our heart, and we service them from everything that they need.
It's a very interesting time that we're living through. I was talking to a lot of people and a lot of small businesses, and this is uncharted territory. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people are scared with their money, first of all. A lot of people are getting furloughed. It's been estimated that just in my city, in McAllen and surrounding cities, there's been over 100,000 employees that have been furloughed, laid off, or have reduced hours. So I guess the question I want to ask you, straight to the point, is this something that people need to be investing in?
Actually, right now it is. It's something that is not investing in, something that they should start to really consider and to start looking at the impacts that this could have on their lives, on their families, on their on their tomorrow life if God provides them, a long life. Right now, of course, the main concern is keeping safe and keeping the family safe and trying to stay, away from, big crowds. And I mean, that's what's all over the news right now. So, of course, it's very easy to just push to one side, one's financial strength. But at the same time, we can't turn that off. We can't be silent to that, because we also need to realize that life is so fragile. We're here today and we're gone tomorrow. And one of the unique things that our company does for clients is that one of the products that we offer our clients is that it's something that protects you today, tomorrow, and it protects your legacy. So is it something that people should be thinking about? Absolutely.
That's really good to hear, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, and a lot of things are really uncertain right now. But what trends are you seeing in your industry right now due to the coronavirus?
So what we're seeing right now is that, of course, a lot of people are scared. They're what I've been seeing is, especially with my portfolio and my clients. I'll give you a very specific example. I had educators that were not even thinking about retirement. They were thinking about it, in the next, 2-3 years. They were thinking about it. I had one that had already met her rules, had passed her rules. And she called me about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and she said, "Miss Lily, I'm ready. I want to retire in May." And here was someone that didn't want to retire until 2 or 3 more years, because she would say, "Well, what am I going to do at home?" And this coronavirus has changed that for a lot of people. A lot of people are now seeing that life is fragile, that we want to live with our families. We want to make the best of what our retirement years will give us. And so that's what I'm hearing out there is that, I want to retire now. So from going to not having many retirees or having just what I had worked, I'm getting a lot of retirees that are coming forward now and saying, "I'm ready. I want to retire now."
It's a very interesting time. It kind of like threw a shockwave through everybody, especially our older community, because we want, obviously, our older community to stay safe, stay out of harm's way, and be able to stay at home and relax. So I obviously commend you all for doing something like this. It's a really good time for people to consider this type of stuff. But is there any other insight that you can give us with how your industry is dealing with everything else that's going on?
Well, what we're doing that is unique is that, of course, we're still making ourselves very available to our clients. We are reaching out. We are letting them know that if they need us, we'll schedule them to our office. And then as a team, we try to make sure that our other agents are aware that we're going to be utilizing the office, so there's not more than 3 to 4 people at a time inside the office. This gives our clients the sense of, we're taking care of you as well. Of course, taking all the precautions that CDC has put out there for us, your mask, your gloves, our hand sanitizers. So, and at the same time, I'm using a lot of the Zoom, the video chats. I have one client that's from Austin that now has come to the Valley because of this virus. And she didn't feel safe enough to come into my office. So instead, she uploaded this app on my computer called Ring. So, what we're doing, I guess, is we're educating ourselves with technology, Josh, to continue to be in touch with our clients as they need us.
It seemed like it happened overnight. It's kind of like a blessing and a curse where everybody had to jump on technology to figure out how to stay connected. And that's what I love about the internet. I live in the digital world. So I love it when more people are jumping on these digital platforms just to get the word out, because I honestly believe that the people that are most vocal about their business are going to be the ones that survive this whole pandemic once it's finally done. So once again, I'd like to thank you, Lily. Thank you very much for your time. I know time is very valuable right now. So getting any good information, credible information, and accurate information from credible guests is something that I really strive for. So once again, we got Lily De La Rosa from Employee Retirement Services. Thank you very much for your time. This podcast is brought to you by themarketplatform.com. It's a website where local buyers and sellers can sell any products or purchase products through the Rio Grande Valley. Right now, It's been estimated that there are over 100,000 people in the McAllen and surrounding areas that have either been furloughed, lost their jobs, or had their hours cut. So this is a way to be able to generate some income during this uncertain time. It's a very interesting time that we're living through, and I know a lot of my friends and a lot of businesses are going out of business, had to close their doors, and really want to be able to give back to our community and also help support the people that live in our community and also be able to generate a business at the same time. So themarketplatform.com. Go check it out. Sign up as a buyer or seller today.